welcome back to Jelly Amigo Podfix. This is the fourth work in the Izuku's Don't Family series. This is Hephaestus, written by Electrich_RK and read by Jelly Amigo. Chapter 1. The Bakugou Family. The Bakugou family was an interesting family consisting of two famous fashion designers, a top 10 pro hero, and a hero course student. Mitsuki and Master Bakugou were polar opposites. Mitsuki had a personality much like the Quirks of her two sons, explosive. Master, on the other hand, was a calmer and more collected parent. Izuku, being a top 10 hero filled with both an immense amount of pride — the kid was only 22, he had accomplished a lot in such a small amount of time, and he was the major inspiration behind why Bakugou Katsuki wanted to be a hero. Of course, All Might had something to do with it too, but Katsuki had looked up to his older brother all his life. He wanted to be as cool as Izuku was. Katsuki had become a handful for the family to handle once Izuku had left home, once he was a full pro hero and stopped coming to visit them so often. His hero work often held him back from being able to see them when he liked. Katsuki had been incredibly disappointed when Izuku called to say he wouldn't be able to come at Christmas last year. A major villain attack requiring him to stay near his agency. "Katsuki, get your ass down here, brat! What do you want, hag? You're going to be late for your first day of UA if you don't hurry the fuck up." That had Katsuki throwing his books into his bag and running out the door. What a good impression he'd make if he'd turned up late on day one. He was running to get on the train that would take him to UA. He was following his brother's footsteps. Izuku would have passed through those very gates for the first time 7 years ago. Now the asshole barely even comes to see us. Katsuki scowled a little while thinking of Izuku. He loved his brother, but he wanted to be able to spend more time with him like they used to. He would be joining Izuku's agency after he finished UA without a doubt. Walking through the gates for the first time as an official student felt surreal to Katsuki. He idly wondered how Izuku felt when he did it. The one door wasn't all that hard to find. It was fucking huge, though. Some big fucker needed to fit in to be in their class for a door that size to be needed. Katsuki took no time checking where he was sitting before taking his seat, propping his feet up on the desk in front of him. Izuku would chastise him for that. Oh well. Mentally shrugging. It wasn't like Izuku was actually here. The class was slowly starting to fill with students now. Some pompous rich fucker with glasses, Gravity Girl from the exams, the Todoroki kid, some purple-haired guy with massive eye bags, red hair. Well, they were starting a fucking rainbow in here or something. Katsuki had noticed the yellow sleeping bag slowly slithering its way across the floor. He had no clue who was inside it, but he was willing to bet that it was likely their teacher. Izuku had most certainly taught him how to be perceptive. Quiet. The shriek that the pink girl let out was sure to have burst some eardrums. "I'm your homeroom teacher, Shota Aizawa. Put on your gym clothes and meet me on the field outside. Your heroics teacher is waiting for us." Katsuki was excited. Who was the heroics teacher going to be? Was it going to be some well-known hero? Whoever it was, the blonde was going to try and learn everything he could from them. What he saw when he stepped into the field caused his jaw to drop. Big brother? The man turned towards him, blonde, spiky hair and red eyes sticking out to Katsuki too much. The familiar smirk that both Izuku and their mom used on his lips. "Hi, Katsuki. Long time no see, huh?" Izuku's raspy voice washed over him. "What the fuck?" Izuku Bakugou, number 6 pro hero. Hephaestus is going to be their heroics teacher. Shit. Chapter 2. Confrontation. Izuku hadn't known what to expect when he'd taken the offered heroic job at UA. As far as he'd been told, it was between him and the number one hero, All Might. He was almost certain in his assessment that All Might didn't have a teacher's license anyway, and this would give him the chance to see Katsuki again. It was April now, and the last time Izuku had been able to see his family in person was in November. He knew his little brother wouldn't be happy about that. Shoda had been speaking to him when he heard the familiar voice speak up from behind him. Big brother? Izuku turned around to face the mini version of their mom. If he was already the mini lookalike, the blonde spike hair, none unlike his own or their mom's, red-shaking eyes, and the surprised expression on his face. Hi, Katsuki. Long time no see, huh? Izuku jokes a little, not at all perturbed by the small scowl that appeared on Katsuki's face. Sighing internally, he knew that reaction was coming. He was glad for the rest of the class appearing on the field, allowing Shoda to continue with his apprehension test. Listen up, Hellspawn. You all, with the exception of Bakugou, took 15 minutes to get here. That's unacceptable. I want you out here within 5 minutes from today. Understood? Understood? Sensei? Who's that? One of the students asked. He was sure his name was Kaminari, the kid with the electrical quirk. Another teen, purple-haired, elbowed him in the side before whispering to him. That's number 6 hero Hephaestus, known for his extremely good control over explosions and fire. Shinzo softly hissed to the blonde. He was a brainwasher. Izuku didn't really do much other than study the quirks of the students to check how well they understood the strengths and limitations of their quirks. The confrontation after the test was over, however. He wasn't something he was wanting. Hey, Izuku, asshole, you disappeared for months and now you decide to just pop up as a teacher in UA? Katsuki was seething with rage. I'm a fucking pro hero, Katsuki. That's my job. I help people. I look up to you. All I wanted was to see you at Christmas, but even that was too hard for you. You want me to apologize for fucking saving people, Katsuki? If you are, I'm afraid you'll be waiting a long time. Izuku was the one boiling in his anger now. All I wanted was your help over the last couple of months, but you weren't there. Katsuki sniffled. It seemed like all the air had just been punched out of Izuku's lungs. Did Katsuki feel like he'd abandoned them? He'd be damned if he let his little brother view him in such a way close to that. I'll come with you to visit the hag tonight, promise. Meet me at the teacher's lounge after classes are over. Just like old times, okay, cat? Izuku ruffled the boy's hair. That small action brought a small smile and laugh out of Katsuki. He would repair whatever unknown damage he'd caused to his relationship with his brother. This family wouldn't turn out like Toya's. He wouldn't let it. For what it's worth, Izuku, having the number 6 pro hero as my older brother is so fucking cool. You'll be in my position one day. Number 6 and number 1, though. You little shit. That had Katsuki running off, laughing. Yeah, they'd be alright. Chapter 3. He's back! Katsuki was making his way to the teacher's lounge to meet his brother. It'd been so long since Izuku spent time with his family, and he was buzzing with excitement inside. Mom and Dad would be thrilled to see Izuku. The older blonde would have to answer so many questions. Knocking on the door, he stood back, waiting for it to open. As it did open, however, Katsuki wasn't expecting to see Principal Nezu walk out with the number 1 hero, All Might, behind him before Izuku slowly exited the room afterwards. Ready to go, cat? Izuku asked him, and an easygoing smile on his face. Yeah, the fucking hag is going to be all over you and asking questions. Hope you're prepared. The signature Bakugou smirk escaping on Katsuki's face. I'm a hero. I'm sure I can deal with Mom for a while. Really? I don't think pro hero training will prepare you for her, though. It's been 5 months since the last time you saw her. The duo kept their small talk up as they got closer and closer to their house, or what used to be Izuku's house. Izuku, for some reason, could feel the swell of tears in his eyes as he looked at the building. He had spent 18 years of his life living in it. It must be all the memories of growing up inside it. Stay here, Izu. I'm going to surprise them both with your arrival. Katsuki? Katsuki? You're back later than I expected. Did everything go all right, Brat? His mom's voice was booming over the sounds of cooking. Everything is fine, Hag. You'll never guess who my heroics teacher is. Katsuki crossed his arms over his chest, waiting for it to attempt at getting the right answer. Oh my... The blonde woman guessed. Fucking of course not. Luckily he's not here with me. Katsuki couldn't stop the wide grin that spread across his features when he heard his dad enter the kitchen too. What's happening? He asked curiously, looking between Katsuki and his wife. The heavy footsteps through the house coming towards them was all the indication Katsuki needed that Izuku had finally come inside and started walking towards them. Neither mom nor dad were facing his direction as the massive blonde man turned around the corner. Guess who's the new UA heroics teacher? Izuku spoke with a soft smile, eyes sparkling with happiness when both of their parents spun around faster than the pair had seen them move. Izuku? Mitsuki breathed out before dragging her eldest son down into a crushing hug. Sit. Dinner's almost ready. Katsuki went over to a stunned Izuku. Told you they missed you. I missed you. All of us did. Izuku and Katsuki took their seats before their mom came back with all the food. So, has life as a pro hero been treating you well for the last 5 months, Brat? Her sickly sweet smirk only promised pain. The agency has been doing really well. It's not an everyday thing for most heroes to be able to work alongside 4 of the top 10 heroes in the rankings. Izuku was focused on eating from what Katsuki could see. He hadn't noticed her smirk. The younger brother knew the exact moment he had. I'm a 6'5", 220-pound pro hero, Mom. A smirk isn't going to do what it did when I was younger. Izuku, about as straight-faced as he could, directed towards their mom. Any advancements in the dating department? I know I won't bother asking about girlfriends. Both of you have been gay since the moment you hit puberty. That had Katsuki almost choking on his food, and by the sounds of it, Izuku literally choking. Mom! You can't tell me it isn't true. You can't tell me it isn't true. She shrugged. Katsuki watched as Izuku started flushing quite red, his cheeks and neck turning into a dark scarlet color. He knew his older brother well enough to know that either meant he was dating someone or had his eyes set on someone. I have someone that I'm interested in, but he doesn't know that yet. And I have an Icarus flying too close to the sun. Katsuki had no idea who Izuku was talking about, but he couldn't feel anything other than happiness for his brother, the coolest man he knew, the man he looked up to, and his main inspiration for being a hero. Oh, don't tell me, is it Toya? Mitsuki exclaimed. Mom! That had Katsuki rolling off into about uncontrollable laughter. It was really nice having Izuku back with them. Chapter 4. Icarus Tempts the Sun. Izuku was looking over all the students. He wasn't sure if the battle trial would go well, but he trusted that if anything did go seriously wrong, then he would be able to step in and put a stop to it. You all look pretty good in these costumes, brats. However, I think it's time I properly introduce myself. I'm Izuku Bakugou, number 6 pro hero, Hephaestus, And I'll be here as your heroics teacher. Izuku smirked at the jaw-dropped expressions on the faces of the class. You said Bakugou, right? Are you related to Katsuki? The redhead boy asked him. I sure am. Kat is my younger brother, Izuku said gleefully. Katsuki was looking away from him with pink dusting his cheeks. He must be embarrassed that he hadn't told anyone about his brother. I didn't even know he had a brother. Izuku wasn't surprised about that, to be honest. If Katsuki hadn't mentioned about him being a hero, then it was highly likely that Izuku wasn't brought up at all. He was about to continue with the lesson when someone unexpected interrupted the class. Hey, hot stuff, fancy seeing you here. The flirting, teasing voice appearing from out of nowhere behind him. Izuku turned around so quickly that his long trench-style coat nearly went flying off. Keigo, why are you here? I was in the area, and I needed to speak with Nazu. So here I am checking in on the future heroes. That infuriatingly good-looking smile on his face. Izuku had to shake his head to get those thoughts out of his head. Toya was the one he was wanting to date, and Keigo was just flirting with him constantly. Keigo wouldn't want to date both Toya and him. Cool, well, come in. Right, everyone, we're going to draw some random lots. We have a hero team and a villain team. 10 versus 10. Izuku finished. Other than Katsuki, no one was moving. What are you waiting for? Gotta fucking move on. As they hurried past him, he overheard Ashido whispering to Kaminari. He's scary like his brother and Aizawa-sensei combined. Ashido, I can show you fucking scary if you want. He felt a grin light up on his face as the pink girl squeaked and hurried faster to draw the lots. You know, these kids are going to be scarred for life for having you and Racer as teachers for 3 years. Keigo leaned over to murmur quietly to him. Okay, sort your stuff into the teams of 10. Izuku watched as they organized themselves into some rather interesting teams. Hero Team: Inasa, Kaminari, Kirishima, Aoyama, Ashido, Yaoyorozu, Koda, Sato, Ojiro, and Uraraka. Villain Team: Bakugou, Todoroki, Ida, Shinzo, Shiro, Shoji, Sero, Asui, Tokoyami, and Hakukure. There are weapons inside the building. The heroes have to capture the weapons or capture the villains with your tape. And the villains need to protect the weapons. Go get ready! Izuku had a feeling he knew which way this was going to go. Having some of the class's strongest students all on the villain team was going to mean that they would likely win. Katsuki and Shoto had enough firepower to take out most of the hero team on their own. Having 3 of the information-gathering students on one team would also provide the villains with a huge advantage. The match continued to go pretty much exactly how Izuku had imagined. It started out quite well for the heroes, with the villain team choosing to abandon the weapon on the lowest level in favor of protecting the 2 weapons closer together. Hakukure had taken off her gloves to go completely unseen. He would have to talk to her about that. In fact, maybe his statement about their costumes would have to be rescinded. He started noticing more problems about them as he watched. Is that girl naked? Keigo asked, the shock dripping through his voice quite clearly. I think so. I'm going to talk to her and Majima about creating a costume with her DNA. Good idea. The conversation between the 2 men halted abruptly as Shoto froze over the floor, trapping the hero team in place. Izuku sighed at that. Toya had told him that his younger brother had a rather interesting personality. The blonde could already see that from his actions in the trial. Villain team wins! As the class slowly made their way back into the room, Izuku could see a few disappointed expressions in there. This was his time to give him a bit of a speech. Alright, I can see that some of you aren't happy with your performance in that battle trial. But that's what this class in being UA is for. I'm here to assess your quirks, your costumes, your strengths, and your weaknesses. So I make you the best heroes you can be. Some of you will end being in the position of myself or Hawks one day. Will end up being in the position of myself or Hawks one day. Don't be so harsh on yourselves. You may not have won, but you still did good work in that exercise. Figure out how you could improve. That's it. Good work today, class. Aizawa has an announcement to make in the morning. Izuku would make sure these kids, and especially his brother, became the best heroes they could be. Hot stuff, huh? Izuku was waiting for Katsuki to bring that up. Katsuki had never actually met Toya, even if Izuku had been friends with the Whitehead for years. Endeavor, more often than not, forced Izuku to have to visit the Todoroki household instead. The parents had met Toya before. He'd never brought Toya back to the family house with him, even after they finished UA, and Toya joined his agency to finally be free from any and all influence that his father had on him. To his credit, Endeavor had improved a lot after he had sat down to discuss the feelings Toya and even himself had towards him. Both Izuku and Toya were glad for that. Shoto had still grown up estranged from a majority of normal society, so that he was more socially inept than most teenagers. But Toya had been a big help in keeping that to a lesser extent than what it could have been. Shut up. I'm not dating Hawks, and I have my eye on someone else. Hawks wouldn't be interested in dating both of us. As Mom said yesterday. Is it Toya? The smaller blonde sped off. The smaller blonde sped off, racing away from Izuku, leaving the older brother red-faced. Motherfucker, get your ass back here, cat! That was chapters 1 through 4 of Hephaestus. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye-bye!